with Dan and Nick, and we're going to do what we hope is a very innovative drive-along interview. And if Dan doesn't get too distracted, we may actually survive. So you guys are in the automotive group.
That's right.
Which was established some time ago, right, within Microchip?
Yes, it's probably close to 14 years now.
Let's talk a little bit about how you guys have evolved that business, because design cycles for the automotive industry 14 years ago were a lot longer than they are today. And I would assume that the embrace of commercial products has exploded in that time, whereas 14 years ago, more design was custom, was ASIC, so on and so forth. How's it all changed?
Well, you know, we've always had a standard product offering, and so the design cycle time hasn't really changed for us much. We've been selling the same products that we sell into all the different marketplaces to automotive, and they've always let us know what their products are going to be, so we've been able to match up either a microcontroller or analog devices or memory devices to their application.
So, Nick, it doesn't sound like you're from West Texas or West Chandler, so I'm going to ask you a question about your regional adoption in regional markets. Where are you guys seeing the more robust, the more aggressive, the more innovative designs? Is it coming out of Detroit? Is it coming out of Europe? Is it coming out of Asia?
I see that there's a change there historically. I'd say the most innovative designs have been coming from Europe. Germany is really a powerhouse in that area, but it is becoming more globally diverse. You know, we start to see a lot of innovation in Asia. So it is gradually changing. Really, as we start to see the historical model where a lot of the innovation was driven in the high-end luxury vehicles, that is still the case, but it's changing. And as it propagates to where innovation is becoming more mainstream introduction across the range of vehicles, we see that geographical shift.
In terms of your customers' biggest challenges, as you guys see it, what would those be today?
I could comment on one significant challenge that is really emerging, and that would be for future automotive systems being fault tolerant or having dedicated safety features to meet new emerging specifications. There have been some specifications in place for several years relating to safety critical automotive systems, so IEC 61508, and there are some very new developing specifications really setting more of a solid roadmap for classification of all automotive systems into certain safety integrity levels. And so associated with each of these levels, there will be very strict requirements for not only the features on the device, but even the development process itself. So there's an emerging layers of complexity that are now being applied to existing systems where customers already have the know-how to create. And that's something that we're working with customers to try to figure out how we offer the solutions in those areas.
So you guys, and I mean this generically, you guys can enable a lot of cool stuff in a car, but you know, Nick, to your earlier point about safety, you got driver distraction issues, which are really sort of top of mind. Do you get a sense for a pushback coming from automotive manufacturers with that in mind? In other words, you know, we're not going to be playing DVDs in the car with surround sound and automatic popcorn.
Well, we've definitely seen that, and there's a balance because the same manufacturer can be asking us for the G-Wiz feature, you know, essentially the iPhone or iPod effect. They need that look and feel, they need the touch, for example, but it has to be automotive robust. So on the one hand, they want this new functionality. It has to be robust in terms of the harsh environment, the electrical environment, 12 volts, a lot of switching going on, a lot of surges, but it also has to not interfere with the driver's concentration. So it's a balance, and the customers are asking for those. Some customers are asking and aggressively want to figure out how to solve the problems, and others, they're just waiting until the problems are solved to adopt. But it's a very strong demand there.
So we read a lot, and we at E-Times write a lot about the coming safety systems, radar, side radar, so on and so forth. They come fast and furious, starting at the luxury end, and then they move down very quickly as you guys cost reduce. What are some other really cool automotive applications out there that we haven't heard of yet?
Something that Dan mentioned earlier would be touch. The vehicle we're driving in today, there are no mechanical switches on the dashboard.
Right.
So there's a very sexy capability for an automotive designer.
Too, Nick, there's another one also, and that would be the forward-looking kind of a way to take the LED headlights and actually bend them, either around curves as you're taking a curve at night,
right,
or sometimes as you approach a car. There are actually ways to be able to shutter those LED lights, those headlights, and force them around the car that's in front of you so you can still see the road beside you. And if a car is coming the other direction, it can sense that, and it can turn that side off and only show the right-hand side of the road. So I think there are many innovations now that are occurring that look forward, anticipate for you, and make the changes automatically. They're now putting cameras on cars to where it can give you a complete view around the car and actually change it to a bird's eye view, so that as you go to back out, you can look on your screen and you can see your car from a bird's eye view and everything around it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I think that's another innovative way they're going. But go ahead, Nick. You probably have something.
Yeah, and maybe I can comment a little bit more on that application. That's one that's very rapidly emerging. And we've seen European OEMs already starting to offer it in current model years as surround view or panorama view. And it's active at parking speeds, so even driving around in a car park, it looks like a zoomed in satellite view of your car. You see everything around you. I've even seen it demonstrated by a Korean manufacturer operating at highway speed. So you're driving down the road at 60 miles an hour and you can see this satellite view, and anything that gets into the field of view, you see it. So a very effective methodology. A stepping stone to there, where we have worked with customers, has been in blind spot detection. So where there's not actually a camera involved, but at least there's some indication on your dashboard or on your side mirrors when a car comes into your blind spot. So using radar, or there's various different ways to implement it. So that's a very, very popular way to go.
What was the biggest fear and anxiety you had about growing and expanding the business that you guys got over, and how did you do it?
It was gaining credibility in the automotive marketplace. Microchip was doing some business here and there in automotive at the time, but it was very small, and the automotive customers were moving toward more of a model where they cared a lot about quality and how well certified you were to some of the quality expectations that they had. So that was the whole anxiety, so to speak, is that could we gain that credibility in the market? Could we get certified to their specifications and be able to be viewed as a top supplier in the automotive area?
Did you have a customer who said, I'm going to trust you, I'm going to give you a high volume order, and I know you're going to deliver it, and that was kind of your validation, your beginning of your validation?
There were several, and the way we did it was what I was talking about earlier, and that was in innovation. We led the industry in remote keyless entry, the key fobs to enter your car.
Right.
We led that industry initially because we had something called key lock technology, which was an encryption algorithm that could not be grabbed by someone else, and it's a rolling code, so it's very secure. And that was a differentiator that got us into the market to start with and gave us that credibility.